Hey guys, Wednesday, November the 26th, day before Thanksgiving. Excuse me. It's another edition of What's in the Shop. And this is what's in the shop, actually. First thing, I wanted to follow up on the Black Widow Rendezvous figure that I finished up. These are all vintage parts. Luckily, I had some in the reserves and got this guy all fixed up, put together. I repaired, if you've seen previous episodes, I've repaired the gun. Well, you can't see that very well. There you go. And this is our guy here. It's a pretty cool set, actually. I'd like to get outside and take some pictures of it, but we have 50-mile-per-hour gusts today, so that's not going to happen. But this is a cool set. I'm really fortunate to find it, and the actual fact that the helmet was complete leads me to my next show and tell, I guess. Are these two aerial recon helmets. I bought these on eBay and a lot of other stuff. They weren't really expensive. I think I got the whole lot for like $31, and I got the two helmets. Both were missing the visors. This one here had the one rivet missing in the side. This one had both rivets in really good shape. So using the Black Widow Rendezvous helmet as a go-by, I took a cloth seamstress tape and went ahead and measured this up and created my own template using painter's tape. And I had a lot of people on Facebook comment asking me what material I used. These are like index card covers. I think you can get them at probably any of your office supply stores. They don't have to be index card covers, but I know you can get colored film like this as like a protector they use for documents and stuff. So I created this template, and from that I went ahead and made a nice replacement visor. And as you can see, it goes up and down and works really, really well. So I have this in here. I'm trying to figure out what to use to do the rivets on this. I've been kind of perusing the internet trying to find small rivets, but no luck right now. But I will do a visor for this at some point. It's not a really big rush because I have this one complete. I'm currently trying to complete the aerial recon set, so I have the helmet, I have the jumpsuit, I just don't have the rest of the stuff. But I had also people comment and ask me how I did the rivets. This tool here is one of the handiest tools I own, especially for like doing G.I. Joe stuff. It's a little mini crowbar I got at Lowe's. It's cobalt, and you can see it has a tapered end. And I just took that tapered end and I just kind of worked it slowly around those rivets. And then from the inside of the helmet, I had used a dental pick, and I would basically try to pry it on the outside and then work it from the inside to try not to damage the rivet at all. And it actually popped out, both of them. And I was able to do the, or reuse the rivets to put these helmets back together. And this tool, I can't really tell you if you're doing a lot of G.I. Joe stuff, especially like popping apart muscle bodies and stuff like that. This thing is super handy. I mean, I use this for a lot of stuff, even like carpentry stuff I do on, outside of the G.I. Joe realm. But I should have bought two. I think I got it 2 or 3 years ago at Lowe's. I'm sure they have stuff that's similar to this still, but this cobalt little pry bar is just a handy tool. So if you can get your hands on one, it's worth its weight in gold. Next up is a little gem I found on Facebook for sale groups. I was looking through the stuff the other day, and I saw some G.I. Joe stuff on there. So it's knockoff stuff, and I had this in there. And I think anybody who is an avid G.I. Joe collector knows what this is. This is the jetpack from the Flying Space Adventure. And if you saw my previous videos, you know that I have the jumpsuit and a helmet for that set. So now I have the actual jetpack. I never planned on getting this either, just like the Black Widow Rendezvous set. But I have it. I'm cleaning it up right now. It had a lot of tape residue on it, so I'm slowly using Goo Gone and starting to clean it up. Probably going to clean off as much of this tape residue as I can and soak it in Dawn dishwashing liquid and scrub it up to make it look as good as I can. But it's in great shape. The only thing it's missing is the top shroud that covers the pulleys. I saw one on eBay for like $62, and that guy was out of his mind. Again, you know, I can't fault the guy for asking that price because it's all about supply and demand, and you don't see a lot of those. So, you know, if I don't want it, I don't have to buy it. So, you know, I think it's too high price, but you know, I don't think anybody cares about me crying about it. So, I might be able to find one. So, shout out to anybody out there if happens to have one and would be willing to trade it or sell it for a reasonable price. I would be interested. But I have a Flying Space Rendezvous jetpack now, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'll get it all cleaned up and get it put together at some point in time and maybe display it with my other stuff. Next up is a guy who I've covered previously, my Coils of Doom figure. As you can see, he is completely finished, or as finished as he's going to be for a while. I'll give you a little background on him. It was a figure on the 3 3/4 scale created by the G.I. Joe Collectors Club. I believe the guys from Regular Joe's podcast had some input on that figure, as they did with a lot of the Collector Club stuff. So I noticed a lot of people doing 1/6 scale customs of Coils of Doom. So I thought, man, I should do one too. So I had a scrap Cotswold head, and I bought a Cotswold body. I took some old G.I. Joe Classic Collection hands and retrofitted them to the body. I used a Dremel tool with an engraving bit to do the scar on the face. The jumpsuit is a Max Steel camouflage jumpsuit, which I thought fitted really... Fitted? I sound like a dummy. I thought it went really well with the color scheme of the Coils of Doom figure from the Collector Club, and I tried to recreate the paint scheme, that neon or bright pastel green. And I didn't have a lot of guns, but I have a lot of spare broken G.I. Joe parts, so I used a couple fronts off flamethrowers, and I used the back of the Laser Rescue pack. I had an extra one. I just retrofitted some parachute cord to give it, a hose or a kind of a weird flamethrower effect. Now this face, or the chest plate, is actually a clip off the back of a cordless phone, home phone. I have several of these. I've meant to use them for like scuba gear rigs, but I haven't got around to it. But I just flipped it around, took a Dremel, modified it, and then put a couple 21st Century Toys ammo packs painted, and of course Mark from Patches of Pride, that's a decal he did for me, the Mars logo. So Cotswold boots painted. Pretty cool guy. I mean, I was really happy with the way it turned out. It's very simple and minimalist. I didn't do a lot of crazy stuff. I just wanted to use all the parts that I had, because I know that a lot of the old G.I. Joe Adventure Team stuff from the 70s borrowed from some of the 60s sets. They just recolored it and retooled it. And I kind of wanted to do the same thing for this guy. So I'm really happy how he turned out. It's part of my villains line I do. I'm going to do a video here probably over Christmas break. Not that I get a Christmas break, but over some vacation I'm going to take, of all the villains I've done. So this is probably my last villain. I don't think, the Collectors Club's coming out with any new villains, because they're obviously no longer around. So I'm happy to add him to my villains collection, and hopefully I can do some photo shoots for the forums on Facebook with him in the future. So this is Coils of Doom. I'm going to set him over here with Black Widow Rendezvous. Who knows? These two might have a conflict at some point in time. Lastly, some of you guys will probably recognize these. These are Shogun Warriors, or Machineders or Jumbos or whatever you want to call I have one that I restored. It's a first issue Great Mazinga, which is this guy here. It's a little different than this one. This is probably a late issue one because it has the fins actually molded to the chest, but I'm not going to get into all these details right now. But I just picked these up on Craigslist from a guy. They were his original toys when he was a kid, and I got them for next to nothing. If you look at the price of these on eBay and some of the other for sale sites, they want like upwards of $250 to sometimes $350 a piece for these, depending on what condition they're in. I think like some of these, like these, the condition that these guys are in right now, I've seen them go for $185 to $200 a piece on eBay, which is whatever. I mean, if you're gonna buy those for that, that's cool. But I'm not. So I'll tell you this: I got all three of them for the price of one, so it was like $200 shipped to my house on Craigslist. Pretty bananas. So of course, like I do with everything else that I try to buy, I'm going to restore them for my son. I never had these when I was a kid, so I'm kind of in that weird tweener phase where these are basically not really in production very much longer when I was like 5 or 6, so I never got those, and they were kind of dangerous to begin with. Not that my parents cared about that. Shout out to my parents for letting me play with dangerous toys. But anyways, I just wanted to show you these. I'm going to get some parts from Shogun Plastics to restore them, and I found some parts on eBay that are reasonably priced to restore them, and I've also got some decals. So now I just need to get them all cleaned up, get the residue, the old decal residue off, the old decals off, and I will be restoring these and doing a small little video for these as well. So that's kind of what's in the shop right now. This is what I've got going on as far as these projects are concerned. Not a lot of other stuff really to talk about right now. I do have a cool G.I. Joe item I'm thinking about getting from a guy I found on Craigslist, if I can make it over this weekend and get it. But that remains up in the air, so I won't really talk about that right now. But if I do get it, I definitely will do a video of it. So here you guys go. We've got a little recap. The Shogun Warriors, Coils of Doom, Black Widow Rendezvous, Flying Space Adventure Backpack, and refurbished Aerial Recon helmet. So enjoy the video, guys. I plan on still doing videos. I don't really know about all the new YouTube changes, but I don't get any money from this anyway, so whatever. I'm just going to play it by ear. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving, and I'll post some more videos soon. Be sure to like and subscribe, and cheers.